Hey everybody, it's me, Wendy, with Crooked House Herbals, and welcome to another Thursday night Facebook Live talk. Tonight we're going to talk about Earthsuit Maintenance 4. We're going to talk about Cayenne, we're going to talk about oregano, and some superfoods. So before we get started, as an introduction, for those of you that may not know me, I am Wendy Fargo. I'm the founder of Crooked House Herbals, and I live in the middle of the country, sort of, a little south in Arkansas. I'm an educator and I'm a master herbalist, and I'm here to talk to you for a few minutes tonight about something other than the COVID virus. So let's talk about how to keep our earth suits going strong, healthy, and vital. So tonight I'm going to just give you a little bit of information, and then I would like to take a few minutes to answer questions. So be thinking about some questions that you might have, preferably pertaining to what we're talking about tonight, but if you have one you want to slip in that's not about what we're talking about, that's okay too. So I'm going to move kind of quickly, but I want you to remember that you can download the documents on the in the Facebook Live folder from that link with that cute little blonde girl going. So that post that just posted a few minutes ago, that's got the link, and you can download all the documents for tonight's talk, and also the awesome little things that we've got for the kids. This time around, Amanda has outdone herself. They'll have a lot of fun with those. So let's first talk about oregano. Oregano's been around for centuries, and it's a very familiar herb. Everyone knows about oregano, and you probably associate it with Italian food, more than likely. You know, it's in the sauce, it's in the dressings, it's a lot of people know about oregano. So the parts of the oregano that you would use medicinally are the leaves and the shoots. You would not use the roots for tinctures or oils or that kind of thing. It's one of my favorite herbs, and I know it's probably a favorite of a lot of yours. I see that we have some people watching that are already saying how much they love oregano, and that is common. But what you probably don't know about oregano is pages and pages of information. There are 3 different constituents in oregano that are key players, the phenols. There's rosmarinic acid, there's thymol, and then there's carvacrol. And all 3 of these are like really significant. It's one reason that oregano is so powerful, and it's such an amazing herb medicinally, because it has all 3 of these. There are some herbs that have 1 or maybe 2, but not often do you find all 3 in the amount that you find in oregano. So again, I'm going to go over some of this, but I'm not going to read all of those documents to you. You're welcome to download them. I put links on there that you can actually, when I was pulling information from different articles, I just put the whole link on there so that you can go and read the entire document if that's what you want to, take a look at. So there's plenty of info there for you to do your own homework if you so choose. Anyway, some of the things that oregano does. It is a natural, rather powerful antibiotic, and I bet you didn't know that. Most people that have been around herbs for a long time, they know about garlic, they know about golden seal, but they don't necessarily know about oregano as being an antibiotic. Hello from Florida. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining. But yes, it fights bacteria, so it is in the antibiotic family, and it is very strong. It takes on some pretty tough players. Of course, staph, staff is around food poisoning and skin infections and that kind of stuff too. Oregano is really, really good for that kind of stuff. There's some studies that I cited that will give you some specifics and some numbers if you're interested in knowing more about that. Hey, I see you guys. Welcome. Research has also shown that oregano oil is effective against all kinds of bacteria. And the bacteria that have a tendency to become resistant to other kinds of antibiotics. So that's a step up from, you know, your penicillins and erythromycins and all of those antibiotics that stay in your body and never leave. This one can actually outperform those types of drugs, and it tastes good and smells good too. So it you know, all of the usual things, E. coli. Another thing it's really good for that I appreciate is that it is very good for clearing urinary tract infections and those kinds of things that happen. That specific type of bacteria is covered with that. It's also an agent in helping to lower your cholesterol. So if you have cholesterol issues and you like the taste of oregano, it's probably not enough though to just eat the fresh herb. You would need to infuse oils, or you would need to take a tincture, or use maybe a essential oil, but sometimes you need to be careful with that, because if you're not really familiar with using essential oils internally, you can not be a happy camper with that. I prefer tinctures and other methods. You do absorb 80% more through your skin, so just using it as an oil on your body, on the bottoms of your feet, that's a really good uptake place. Would be better than trying to do essential oils if you're not sure about how to ingest them. That's a talk for another day. But it is also a powerful antioxidant, and we all know about free radicals, and we know how they oxidize our bodies and actually promote the aging process and degenerating process of our earth suit. Okay, our earth suits are like cars. They have to be tuned up and well maintained, or they start to fall apart. So one study that I did note compared the antioxidant content of 39 commonly known herbs and found that oregano has the highest concentration of antioxidants from all of those. So it's a good one, and it's so easy to grow, and it's so easy to get your hands on. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. It's things that are not exotic and that you have to order or wait for, because we all know that supply chain is kind of broken right now. So, but anybody can plant a few oregano bushes or oregano plants in their yard and end up with a nice little hedge, and it's blooms, it's got beautiful flowers, and it's got medicine. Okay, another thing that oregano is really good for is yeast. Okay, yeast is a fungus, and our bodies have a tendency to overproduce, and that's one reason that you have a lot of gut issues and poor gut health. It'll also cause, like an overgrowth of yeast will cause you to have thrush, or and the most popular one is candida. So you start to get overproducing, and then pretty soon you're breaking down in other areas of your body, and you're not able to keep up with the overgrowth of yeast, and you can get really sick. It can take you down. So oregano is a yeast killer. It's an antifungal. Okay, that's what you want to remember. Fungal things. So if you've got an oregano tincture, you could mix that up with some witch hazel and some plantain tincture or something like that, and you could create a really nice antifungal spray for people that have trouble maybe with athlete's foot or toe fungus or anything fungal. So that's what you want to remember and think about in terms of those three constituents I told you about. They are antifungal, they are antioxidant, they are antibiotic, antibacterial. Okay? They are also antiviral. And they have something that's called monoterpenes. I'm not going to go too far into this because it's just a lot of chemistry. But monoterpenes, they help to make it a very broad spectrum. And that's one of the reasons that it is so antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. It's an immunostimulant. I don't know why I can never say that word. But anyway, stimulates your immune system. So your body is working at top speed and top form. And it's an anti-parasite. It'll kill parasites. It is a mental stimulant. It will stimulate your mental capacities as well. So there's a lot of things that oregano does, and it's, no wonder those Italians are so happy. They use a lot of oregano, but it is one that you really want to look into, and it's an easy one to obtain and to grow. And you can just about anywhere in the country you can grow oregano. You can grow it in your house. So think about it and use it more, and introduce your children to it so they can acquire a taste for it. And if you're not really inclined to making your own tinctures and oils and whatever, you can always get a hold of me, www.crookedhouseherbals.com, and I have those things available if anybody needs them or wants them. It also has a solvent in it that actually disables the fungal cell membrane. So it literally dismantles it, and that's how it destroys fungus. I would love to be able to do some scientific little experiments with it and actually watch things like that happen. Haven't had time for that, but trust me, it does work. Some of the other things that oregano has been used for and is very, very good at treating would be bronchial problems, headaches, swollen glands, bloating, indigestion, of course any of those things that have to do with your gut. But also it works, it's a diaphoretic, so it is good for treating colds and flu and fevers. It causes you to sweat. It causes you to perspire and release toxins. So you really can't beat it for a one-stop shopper. It needs to be, in your house. I'm going to talk about another one of those in just a minute as well. But you can create you can do some inhaling type things if you have bronchial issues and you've got maybe sinus and bronchial problems. Even just boiling some or steaming some oregano and putting your head over the steam and inhaling it will open up your passageways and open up, and then you're breathing in that antibacterial, that antifungal vapor, and actually not just opening up your airways, but you're putting some medicine in there at the same time. So I really love oregano, and I'm glad actually I had somebody ask me to talk about it, and so I wanted to give you a little heads up on it and give you a little more information where you could do a little more of your own work research and find out what you want to know about it. Everybody's got specific things they want to know. It's also a really good anti-inflammatory. It's used a lot for osteoporosis. Osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, asthma. Again, because of the way that it works in your bronchial tubes. It's a lot of people with Crohn's and colitis have had good success with it. So, and it's not something that is like overly. You can't OD on oregano unless you were I will say possibly trying to ingest too much essential oil, because that is super, super strong. So you're better off with tinctures and infused oils and all of those things you can learn how to do from me if you want to. I'm going to be conducting some workshops at my ranch next month, and you can watch my website for information about those events if you are interested and would like to sign up, because that's where I will be teaching you how to do some of those things and helping you to identify plants that are growing and learning more about what's growing in your yard already. So, oregano is powerful, it's accessible, it's palatable, and I think it's something you need to consider. Okay, I'm going to move on now to another one of my faves, and that is cayenne pepper. And those of you that know me know that I talk about cayenne pepper a lot. I have many cayenne pepper stories, my own stories, but I want you to understand again how powerful this little herb is and how important it is, especially if you have children. Although I don't have any children here and I've used it on myself a lot, but if you do have kids especially, it is something that you really need to have on hand at all times. Cayenne pepper, the constituent in cayenne pepper that makes it so powerful is capsaicin. And it'll boost your metabolism, it'll regulate your blood pressure. If your blood pressure is high, it'll bring it down. If it's low, it'll bring it up. It's a smart herb that way. It is very good for heart health. We're using cayenne pepper in conjunction with hawthorn berry will heal your heart. It will bring your heart back to a very strong, good state. It stops bleeding. I have injured myself more times than I care to confess, and the first thing I do is dump cayenne pepper on it to stop the bleeding. I have a grandson who likes to get bloody noses. We have done that with cayenne. We have stopped them to the count of 10 with cayenne pepper and a Q-tip. So, but it will stop the bleeding quickly, and it's not painful, so it doesn't hurt you. Okay, it doesn't hurt to put cayenne pepper on a cut. It's already open, and it's just coagulating the blood. But at the same time, it's like a tonic herb. It will coagulate, but it will also thin your blood. So if you have trouble with clotting and you're on blood thinners and you'd like to get off them, a cayenne pepper regimen, working yourself like I talked about last week, where you introduce it and lessen your drugs you're taking and introduce the pepper and balance it out until you're finally off your blood thinners and just using cayenne pepper, because it will keep your blood nice and healthy and thin. It, believe it or not, will improve your digestion and help you to avoid any kind of stomach ulcers. People go, how can cayenne pepper keep me from having a stomach ulcer? Well, it does. It's very healing, and you will not have stomach ulcers if you consume enough cayenne pepper. I know in your mind you think it should be the other way around. It's going to burn a hole through my gut, but it doesn't. It's very healing. I use cayenne pepper in my eye drops. I use cayenne pepper in my nose spray. I use cayenne pepper in my face cream. I use it because it increases circulation. It takes other valuable herbs to place. It will reduce pain because it reduces substance P, which substance P is in your body, and it is what sends a message to your brain that you're having pain. So cayenne pepper will reduce the amount of substance P that you have in your flowing through right there, and then so it relieves that message, blocks that message that you're having pain. So, and I can hear somebody right now saying, yeah, it's just because you're burning somewhere else that you don't think about the pain in your head, but it really does block that substance P and keep your brain from getting the messages about pain, which sometimes is not a good thing. Sometimes pain needs to be present so that you don't hurt yourself worse or injure yourself in a way that, I mean, if it didn't burn you to touch a hot stove, you would burn your hand. So, I mean, you don't want to totally block substance P from your brain, but if you are having a violent headache, or if you've got some other kind of pain, maybe due to surgery or something like that, cayenne pepper is something that could be therapeutic in that sense. And it may actually help prevent cancer or slow the growth of cancer cells because it attacks the different pathways that the cancer cells grow. Cayenne pepper is very much a smart herb, and I challenge you to look into cayenne. I could talk about cayenne pepper probably for 3 days, and that and plantain, they're my favorites. So but I do want you to understand that it is something that it needs to be your go-to herb if you have an injury. I use it on my animals. It's cleansing, it's purifying, and it'll stop bleeding. And sometimes that's what you need to do first before you can even figure out how to treat something. You've got to get the bleeding stopped. Trust me, I know. I have been really, really bloody before, and the first thing I've had to do is just get the cayenne pepper on me and my dog and anybody else and get the bleeding stopped so I could even take a look at what I needed to do next. So it's a good one to have. And again, I encourage you to introduce these kinds of things to your children now so that they can grow up with these kinds of herbs in their house, in their home, in their mouth, and knowing that they're medicine as well. They'll be miles ahead of anybody else in their generation. So do them that favor. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about, and it's kind of a big thing, but it won't take long. I want to talk to you about superfoods. Superfoods are basically foods that are whole in their raw, natural state, that are really, really nutrient dense. Superfoods. There's a list of them, and I put the list up in the documents that I uploaded for you. They usually will be a really good source of fiber. They'll be a good source of plenty of vitamins and antioxidants and beta carotene. Superfoods infuse you with nutrition. If you have enough superfoods in your body, you will not be hungry. You will be vital. You will have energy. You will have clarity. You will think well. And it doesn't take a lot to bring you to that place and to that state, like it does when you are eating maybe a carbohydrate-rich meal, or even something with a whole lot of protein, but you're not getting a lot of nutrition. Okay, so when I read some of these off, you'll understand what I mean. Almonds, apples. Apples are 80% oxygen. They oxygenate your blood. They bring oxygen to your brain. That adage, apple a day keeps the doctor away, was not just a cute saying. It really is powerful. That's why apple cider vinegar is so good. But apples are superfoods. Okay, avocados, beets. Okay, beets are one that I'm going to come back to beets because they're one of my favorites, and they do a lot of things. This list that I gave you will list the superfoods, and then they will tell you what they're high in. Like coconut oil is a superfood. Collard greens are a superfood. Dark chocolate is a superfood. Yes, I'm so happy about that because but it needs to be like at least 70%. Okay, if you go lower than that, then you're getting sugars and other stuff in there. But superfoods have high cacao content. So you want it to be mostly that bitter taste, but I'm good with that. I love dark chocolate. Beans, especially black beans, are a superfood. They provide fiber, protein, antioxidants, and iron. So if you have an iron deficiency, if you are anemic, or if you're struggling with those kinds of issues, then take a look at the superfoods and try to beef up your diet with these foods that are high in iron and high in antioxidants, and give your body natural whole sources of nutrition. You'll find that you can balance your body out really well with food. The trick is being consistent. Flaxseed is another one. It's a good one to put in smoothies. It's got a lot of omega-3s. It's got fiber. It's got antioxidants. It's a powerhouse. Garlic, of course. Not only is it an antibiotic, it's also an antioxidant. It's got a lot of vitamins. It's got manganese in it. It's got, it'll help lower your cholesterol. It fights colds. It's an antiviral. And garlic is a superfood. Green tea, matcha, and other teas loaded with polyphenols and antioxidants and those kinds of things. Okay, maca root is another one that not a lot of people know about, and I have them telling me, or I have people ask me all the time, is there anything I can take to help balance my hormones? Or, you know, I have menopause that is just like driving me crazy and my whole family's going nuts. And one of the first things I direct them to is maca. Maca is actually a cruciferous vegetable. It's from Peru. It's Peruvian. A lot of times it's called Peruvian ginseng for that, because it's kind of an adaptogen in that way. It's related actually to broccoli and cauliflower, cabbage and kale, those cruciferous. But the root is what they'll dry and make the powder with, and it's a good sunscreen. So you could put maca powder in creams to have a natural sunscreen. It'll reduce prostate sizes. It will improve your memory and your learning. It boosts energy. It will increase your libido. It will just about eliminate menopause symptoms. So again, it's not something that you hit and miss with, though. You take a teaspoon of it in some juice every morning, and you just keep up with that until you have your desired results, and it will work. It kind of tastes like dirt, but you know, so what? You can do that, right? Mushrooms are a superfood. We've talked about mushrooms already and how antiviral they are. Eggs are one of the few superfoods that is not plant-based. They have a lot of iron, and they have protein. They have 9 essential amino acids. You want to make sure you have good, organic, free-range eggs that maybe you know somebody who raises them or whatever. And I will say this about eggs. They are mucus forming, so moderation. Eat eggs in moderation. Don't eat 3 eggs a day, because your body will fill up with mucus at the first sign of any kind of, illness or anything. Your body will start overproducing mucus. Eggs are mucus forming. Hi Haley, happy birthday yesterday. Pomegranates are another really good superfood. I love pomegranates. Or you can even use the pomegranate juice as long as it doesn't have a lot of sugar. You have to watch that sugar content. Make sure it's pretty bitter. You want the bitter. Pumpkin is the other one that is easy to get your hands on, and it is a superfood. And it's actually not just good for people, it's good for your animals. It's good for everybody. Pumpkin is really high in vitamins A and C. It's got a lot of fiber, it's got a lot of vitamins, and it is a superfood. And again, easy to get your hands on. Some of you will applaud this one, but red wine is considered a superfood. It's not super healthy a lot of other ways, but it does have a lot of antioxidants, and a little bit can be beneficial. The trick is just having a little bit. And so if you tend to not have just a little bit, go with a different thing. Don't overdo it with wine. Sweet potatoes are another really good superfood, and they have potassium, they've got fiber, they've got vitamin C, they've got vitamin B6, manganese, copper. You know, we need that copper. That copper is an antiviral. Another one that I love is watercress. And those of you that have taken my class, either at the college or here, you know that I introduced you to bittercress, which grows everywhere out here in Arkansas, which is in the same family. And watercress it kind of flies under the radar, but it's kind of spicy, has a good taste. I like to put it on sandwiches and stuff. It's very high in vitamin K and A, as well as packed with antioxidants. Packed. You've got wheat germ, you've got oats. Oats have magnesium, potassium, they've got phytonutrients, they're full of fiber. Oat milk has that as well. So you have a long list of superfoods that you can choose from. I was going to show you, I found this the other day at the store, and it is a powder. It only has these things in it. That's all it is. It's got beetroot, it's got pomegranate, it's got cordyceps, which is our mushrooms. It's got it's got lion's mane. It's got apple powder, maca root, and coconut water, and lemon powder in this bag. And you just mix it with water, or you could put it in a smoothie or whatever. I found this, I'm trying to remember where I saw this. I think it was at the neighborhood market, right there. And also, you can buy maca powder. This is organic, and you can get it at the store. So you don't have to order it. You don't have to wait 600 days for Amazon to send it to you or whatever. You can go to some of the stores around and, you know, get your Inca superfood, and you can get your beets, and you can get your other things when they're in spinach is another superfood. So good for you. Folate, iron, vitamin A, vitamin K. The only thing is, you know, if you have an issue with vitamin K, then those are foods that you'll want to avoid. Some people do, and they can't have an excess because maybe a medication that they're on or whatever. But most people, those of us that aren't on stuff like that, can totally benefit from food. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. So, before I forget, I wanted to show you our two things for the kids this week. We have Mr. Pumpkinhead. I started coloring mine already. And Amanda has created it so it's a cutout, and you cut these things out, and then you give him a face. And then you have Mrs. Beats, who also has plenty of things to cut out. She even has eyelashes and eyebrows and lips and all kinds of goofy eyes. So you can color these and cut them out. And it would be really neat if when the kids do that, if you would post them so we can all share in that. I love that. I like seeing what everybody's doing. In fact, anybody who's got good pumpkin recipes or anything like that that you want to share that pertains to what we talked about the week before, whatever, please post them on the Crooked House page, and let's keep our community going. Oh, Carrie, thank you. I'm glad you love your eggs. She's telling me that she loved the eggs that I delivered to her today. So let's open this up for a couple minutes. As if anybody has any kind of questions, I want to be available to answer for you. Anybody? Thinking? Do I need to play the Jeopardy music? Da, 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 da. Well, you can't say that I didn't give you a chance, because I'm sitting here waiting. If anybody's got anything they want to ask me. Are you guys enjoying this? Is this something that I should continue? Or should I wrap it up at the end of the month? Can you tell me that? I'm enjoying it. I feel like this is some way that I can at least give back something, since I am, all of my classes have been canceled at the college, and I do have an online course that you can obtain through Crooked House Herbals that is very comprehensive. But I have enjoyed this time with you guys as well. Hey Barb. I've heard honey is good for making scars fade. Honey does work to a point. If you mixed that with some pine tar or comfrey would be a good one. You can make, your scars will fade. Basically, I don't know if it's as much a fading thing as much as, or as if you've got to regenerate the cell growth. So that's basically what's happening when your scar fades. You're just growing new cells over it. So the best herbs for that would be things like comfrey and plantain and those kinds of herbs. Aloe vera is a cell proliferant, so you'd be better off to get yourself a big old aloe vera leaf and cut off a slice each night and peel it back and rub it all over your face or where your scars are, and just leave it on overnight and do that every night for a while. Okay. So I'm seeing keep, we want to keep. So good. I'll just keep going then. And well, I don't run the country, so I can't say that school should be in or school should be out. But I did have quite a few classes scheduled through the college this year, through all the way till August, and everything of course has been canceled. Not to say that they won't start up again at some point, but I will just find other ways. I love to teach, and I am available. Like I said, I have created a pretty good online course for those of you that are really interested in learning more about herbs and how to create your own potions. But I'm also doing some on-site stuff here at my ranch, and for those of you that are local and able to come to those kinds of things, watch my website and the calendar, and we'll be putting up some more events starting in May. I've just decided we're going for it. I'll just keep them small, under 10 people, and we'll be okay. We can make it work. So, does anybody else have any other questions? By the way, honey is very antibacterial. Honey doesn't spoil. So that's a good thing for those of you that maybe, have a tendency to be a little on the preppy side, prepping for this or that or the other. Buying containers of honey and just keeping them closed, you can keep honey for a really long time. And it is good. You can mix honey with different things to heal wounds. You can make an onion syrup with honey that is really good for things like pneumonia or colds, lung issues, that kind of stuff. So these are all things that, if you want to know more, I'm here to share. And next week, I think I'm thinking I might want to talk to you about heavy metals and detoxing heavy metals, and how you can do that fairly easily without having to go into any big, scary, weird regimens. Just sharing with you some ways to get some of the heavy metals out of your body. I don't even know, some of you may not even realize that you are toxic, but you are. And our environment and our world is just the way it is. I mean, we can't really avoid it. So it's good to detox. And let's see, what does this say? need a good source for local honey. Farmers markets, but we're not doing that right now. There is a local honey source in our area that sells at Atwoods, and actually you can find them. You can find it sometimes at the local grocery stores. I'm trying to think of the brand. I think it's called Richards. I'm not sure, but it's a regionally local honey. So we do have some here. But if you juice the superfoods, do you get the same nutrients? Yes, you will get the same nutrients, but you won't have the benefit of the fiber. So if you're needing the fiber, then you kind of need to either smoothie it, so you've got the, you're keeping the thing together. But running it through a juicer, you end up with the pulp over here and the juice over here, and so the pulp is where all your fiber is. So you'll want to put it into a blender and blend it to make a thick smoothie if you need the fiber. If you don't, then the nutrients will still be in the juice, but you want to try to drink it within 20 minutes of juicing it to keep all the good hot nutrition happening. After 20 minutes or so, you start losing some of the nutritional value, unless you can get it into a jar and put a jar lid on it, airtight right away. Then you're better off. But yeah, so it just depends on if you want fiber or no. That's the answer to that one. Anybody else have any other questions? I've really enjoyed spending time with you guys. I wish I could see everybody and actually really hear you, but I'm happy that you're here, and I am enjoying this, and I will continue. And if you have any special requests, please message me or email me or text me or whatever and say, hey, can you talk about this? I know stuff comes up throughout the week, and you just, the more you are aware, the more you're going to want to know. So just let me know, and I'll do my best to get you some information that doesn't blow the top off your head. All right? Don't forget to download your documents, and I thank you for this time, and I will see you again next week.